You don't always need to be a bad person doing evil things to be a villain. I think today it exists also in normal day-to-day society that quality exists within us. Villain कभी नहीं सोचता वो villain है कहानी का. उसकी कहानी का तो वो hero है. We don't stay together. Contrary to popular belief, people assume कि हम सब एक दूसरे में मिले और फिर एक छत के नीचे रहने लग गए तो हम रोज सुबह उठ कर यही बात करते हैं कि तू क्या कर रही मैं क्या करूँ तू क्या कर रही मैं क्या करूँ. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. हम भी नॉर्मल लोगों की तरह है. We are still figuring out our dynamics all the time. I'm a stunner. I'm a beautiful.
You're a beautiful Kapoor.
I'm a beauty Kapoor. Okay. And she's a handsome Sutaria.
Handsome Sutaria.
Sorry to disappoint you.
No, I'm not disappointed.
No, in the sense कि क्या बात नहीं की है बैठ के कि तेरी पिक्चर लग रही मेरी. ऐसे हमने सखियों की तरह डिस्कशन नहीं किया.
Hello everyone. We have with us today two of the most good-looking villains. Arjun and Tara, welcome to News 18 Showsha.
We were very surprised by what you said for some reason.
Why? You don't believe you're good looking?
I mean...
You're handsome. I'm a stunner. I'm a beautiful.
You're a beautiful Kapoor.
I'm a beauty Kapoor. Okay. And she's a handsome Sutaria.
All right. No. Okay. Welcome to News 18
Thank
Showsha.
you. But thank you for complimenting us, or I can say on my behalf me. बहुत अच्छा लगता है सुन के when you're being called good looking. No, because I have really worked hard for it, so now I really enjoy it.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So to start off, of course, this is a very different film from Ek Villain. But you know the kind of brand that's attached to Ek Villain, was that primarily the selling point for both of you? I mean, did you feel like we have the cushion of the franchise already?
Cushion का तो पता नहीं यार. I mean, in today's environment, I think the cushion is not the only thing. You have to also look at the kind of film you're trying to make or the aspiration. For me, at least, knowing that Mohit is directing it, he made the first one, he's making the second. So there's a continuity of the world that Ek Villain had. So somewhere that ease was there. If that's a cushion, then that cushion works, because you rather have the same creative forces that made the first one make the continuation, because the franchise also needs to take one step forward and not take two steps back. That's very important. So I think Mohit being a part of it made my decision simpler, and that added a cushion. It's tough to say you felt any cushion or any pressure, because जब आप picture कर रहे हो, you're doing the film, you're playing the character, you're not really thinking about the end result of the product alone. Yeah. You're just trying to make that day happen and trying to be the character. Today, आज जब promotion कर रहे हैं and we're sitting around and talking, yeah, of course, you realize, okay, there is a certain franchise value, there's a brand value attached. Yeah. We have Galia back, so people are reminded about the first one, all the more reason. But that's not such a bad thing, no? I mean, it's a good thing to have that pressure. Everybody must have that much pressure in their work environment that they should try and do better. So that's a good thing, and I don't think that made us complacent in the work that we did. ऐसा नहीं था that we took it for granted कि because it's a franchise or it's a brand कि चलो हो जाएगा. I think we've all worked towards making sure that this film stands.
On the contrary, actually.
Yeah, this film stands the test of being its own identity, or on its own identity also.
But did you have this thing, oh, the Ek Villain franchise, when you first got the script? Did you have this thing?
No, I think I just felt safe in the space that I knew that, quite like what Arjun said, that if Mohit's making the second part and making this part, you kind of feel safe in the knowledge of he made the first one, who better to make the second one than him. You feel secure, you feel safe, you feel good. Like I felt good knowing that I was working with Arjun and Disha and John, because I just knew on a very basic level, even if you remove the story, I just knew that we would fit. It's very important when you do a film to intuitively have that feeling, that gut feeling of would we fit, would we work together as a unit. And I think collectively over the last 2 years now of making this film, I think 1.5 years, it's just been lots of learning for me personally, because I've never done a film with such a big ensemble cast before. But I think all of us collectively as a unit, it's just falling into place, and it's fallen into place beautifully. And I think that's the feeling that I got when I said yes to the film. Apart from the obvious excitingness of music, that was a huge yes for me as well.
We'll come to the music, but Tara, before that I want to ask you, back in the day, the women characters that we would see on screen, they would either be completely white or we had femme fatales, these, black characters. Today, the kind of characters that are being written for women, I mean, you have a grey character in the film, which I'm really looking forward to. How do you really look at this transition? And personally for you, was it challenging to play a grey character?
Absolutely not. I think all of us, since time immemorial, women and men both in equal parts have a bunch of grey shades attached to us since we're very little. I think all of us have our off days and our bad days where we have, I don't know if you want to call them villainous qualities or grey shades to us. I think it's not been tapped, and there's so much potential in this genre. One of my favorite films ever is a film called Gone Girl. And that really shows you what a woman, when she's wronged, is capable of. And not even when she's wrong, all of us have those days and have those shades to us. And I think if we don't attempt them in film in 2022, then something's going horribly wrong. So I hope that this is the beginning of a very new and exciting chapter for writers and for producers and directors to invest in stories that tell, speak of such shades. And I think this is a great starting point for me. My next film is Apurva. I just announced it the other day, and that's a thriller, and that's a story about a young woman who, again, tells her own story and shows many, many shades to her, and all of us have that. So I think it's about time and high time that we as women are unafraid to also take on these roles.
Absolutely. And Arjun, do you think that this concept of villains sort of has waned away today? Because back in the 70s and 80s we had this big glorious villains.
No, the concept has not gone away. It's perhaps arguably more important. Without the perfect hero, without the perfect villain, there is no perfect hero. You have to understand, without Mogambo, there is no Mr. India. Gabbar ke bina Sholay mein hamare Jai Veeru kisse ladte. So you need a force to combat. What used to happen earlier is perhaps there was a bigger moral compass that existed in society, so even actors would not take on roles that perhaps had these streaks. Because certain qualities that were showcased in maybe back in the day where villains were concerned, to show them bad was to go to an extreme. Certain things that perhaps actors or heroes would not be comfortable doing. Slowly, I think that has evolved. The thought process of what a villain is has also become a little grey. You don't always need to be a bad person doing evil things to be a villain. I think today it exists also in normal day-to-day society, that quality exists within us. So in context to the evolution of filmmaking has happened, characters has happened, so kahin na kahin even actors, the male leads as you call them, or the female leads as you call them, we don't mind looking at characters as characters rather than judging hero or villain. Let the audience decide that. I mean, I did Ishaq Zadeh, meri pehli picture mein I had grey shades. In the first, at interval you get out, you're supposed to hate me. I don't think that's a choice that you make 50 years back, because the society wouldn't accept a boy like that easily. And in Ishaq Zadeh, I won't say it was accepted, but you understand where he's coming from, because ab aage second half mein baith ke picture dekhte to you realize he made a mistake and he repents it. So now, is he a villain? Is he a hero? But at the end of the day, he has both those sides that you see. So I think it's an interesting time. That's not to say that villains don't exist and actors don't want to play them, but I think now it's just become easier that you can have a mental understanding about why we hear of origin stories, when you understand why he's become the way he is. So I think people are more interested to know, agar aap ye kuch kar rahe ho as a character, what is your thought behind it? Villain kabhi nahi sochta wo villain hai kahani ka, uski kahani ka to wo hero hai. बट आप समाज के तौर पे बैठ के एज अ थर्ड पर्सन गेज कर सकते हो कि वो सही है या गलत है. So that's what is interesting, is that to find the feeling of being a hero in your own story versus what the audience is feeling, that creates a nice friction between the audience and the storytelling also. So it's nice.
Janhvi's film is releasing on the same day. I'm not going to ask you about the clash of the titans and all of that.
It's not a titan clash at all.
I mean, of course,
neither is she a titan nor am I.
The platforms are also different. I get
our
it.
Our film is coming in theatres, hers is on
yes,
on
but what's platform. Like the dynamic at home? Have you had a conversation?
I mean, see, firstly, it's very important for me to make people realize she's working, I'm working. We don't stay together. Contrary to popular belief, people assume कि हम सब एक दूसरे मिले और फिर एक छत के नीचे रहने लग गए. तो हम रोज सुबह उठ के यही बात करते हैं कि तू क्या कर रही है, मैं क्या करूँ, तू क्या कर रही है, मैं क्या करूँ. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. हम भी नॉर्मल लोगों की तरह है. We are still figuring out our dynamics all the time. I'm in touch with her on WhatsApp, and she's been shooting with Varun. And who better than Varun Dhawan to be around when she has to come back and market a film? So I've left Varun to teach her all the important, relevant tricks. I really like the trailer. I really feel that she's got a lot of conviction and a performance in the trailer. So I'm very happy that the film is coming out on the same day. It's a good thing. We'll have hopefully 2 reasons to celebrate with both the films doing well. Yeah. But there's been no real conversation about it. Sorry to disappoint you.
No, I'm not disappointed.
No, in the sense कि क्या बात नहीं की है बैठ के कि तेरी पिक्चर लग रही मेरी, ऐसे हमने सखियों की तरह डिस्कशन नहीं किया.
Okay then. Coming to your music, I recently spoke to Ankit Tiwari, and he said that. So I think you guys had 3 rounds of recording, and
Honestly, I've lost count. I'm sure we've had even more.
I think every time Tara was not shooting and I used to message her, she's like, I'll just call you later.
I'm
I'll
at the
message you, I'm just
studio.
at the studio. So I'm like, yaar, kitni picture ke gaane record
And
kar
we
rahe ho?
actually recorded, Shamat was the first song we recorded. We recorded before we even shot for the first day, which was in Goa. So I recorded the first song, which was Shamat, even before I even really knew what my character was all
और मैं
about.
सुन के पागल हो गया था ऐसे माइंड ब्लोइंग गाना गाया और हर बार बोलती थी मैं वापस जा रही हूँ गाने ऐसे अब क्या बचा
I
गाने
like
को?
doing that though. I like re-recording.
Because he told me that the first time we recorded, because since Tara is an opera singer,
I'm not an
she
opera
sounded-
singer. I'm
That's
not
what
an
he told me.
No,
She
no.
sounded very different. By the
No.
third recording, even I was blown away by how
People tend
good
to
Tara
assume that
was.
Western music is only opera singing. I'm not an opera singer. I'm a trained classical singer. There's a big difference. I'm not an opera singer, guys. But I do enjoy the opera, but I don't sing only opera music.
Thanks for the clarification there. But take us through the process. How was it?
It was amazing. I've never sung in Hindi before for obviously any film that I've been a part of. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've trained for about 21 years now in Western classical, semi-classical, jazz and pop. So that's something that I feel like that's been my world all my life. And it's been an incredible experience to now get to sing in a language that I really, really adore, which is Hindi, a language that I speak so much of in film, but haven't had the opportunity to sing in film. I think the last time I probably sang was at promotions for other films that I've done in Hindi, obviously, but never recorded a Hindi song for myself. So it's quite surreal to, I've lip-synced songs in Hindi in my films before, but never to my own voice. So it feels crazy. Like when we were shooting Shamat in Goa, that was the first day Arjun and I were also working together, and it was to the recording of Shamat, which was my voice, and I was on stage, and the video's out now, so you've seen it, but it was so crazy to sing to my own voice and to have that experience, which not many young actors have, and I hope that with the films to come, I can continue that.
On that note, thank you so much, Arjun and Tara. Wishing you all the very best for Ek Villain Written.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, मैं हूँ Arjun Kapoor
And I'm Tara Sutaria,
and you're watching us on
News 18 Showsha.